Tonight on Starchwreck NOT live, we have phasers, tricorders, and some spaceships, all coming up right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, studio audience. Thank you. Thank you for this grand, spectacular episode 2 of Starchwreck Live, now called Starchwreck Not Live, because you're not watching me do this right now. And I have time to edit it in case I swear a lot or whatever. Today, we have some great props and stuff, and then I lost a train of thought, so let's just get to it. First thing we got for you this week is getting close to finishing that Boomerang Phaser. None of this is glued down. I just had it on there for demonstrative purposes. These are going to be fun to glue down because there's not really any specific markers other than where I removed the other ones, but you can't really see those because I kind of smoothed it all over, so gluing those on will be interesting. But you can see it's coming out pretty nicely. This I painted first because I'm gonna I think it might need one more coat, but we'll see, of gloss, and then we'll do the grip in the semi-flat black just to give it some variety. So that guy's coming along pretty nicely. We'll set that over here. More in the props front, you can see from the horrible thing I did last week, this is just black primer by the way, but it's almost there. It's not quite, so I'll need to do some sanding, get rid of that thing, maybe some more filling. The black primer actually looks pretty good, and I think I noticed some little bubbles there that I'll have to take care of, so, but it's coming along. And while I was at it, I did the button, but I'll do this in the semi-flat black just because I think it'll look a little better. But so that's where, speaking of which, let's talk about, we got Phase Pistol Friday tomorrow, and we'll just pretend that's a thing because it sounds like a thing, and you spell Friday with a PH, so it's even more pretentious. But let's talk about a little preview of the Phase Pistols. Since last time I got the drill, die, and tap set, whatever, for this, so those snake eye screws are now tapped, so it should be pretty easy. So tomorrow I have to make this front piece out of styrene and then glue the emitter and the little blowback tube onto it, and then make sure it's able to clear the front there so it doesn't get caught. And then I have to get these guys all nice and filled in. I used some super glue and the fast cure, zip cure, whatever it is, to make that nice and solid, so at least there's not a hole there to fill. So it'll be some putty to get that all filled up, and I also cut that little notch since last time, but they all fit together really nicely with the magnet. On the Hero Phase Pistol, on the other Phase Pistol, haven't worked on that too much, but it is almost ready for paint at this point, so I do have to get this part re-sculpted. I have to get out the probably heavy-duty Bondo for that one, and I might also use some maybe styrene just to have like a skeleton on the inside so it's not just the filler stuff. But yeah, so that guy's coming on pretty nicely. But that's about it on the Phase Pistol front. But like I said, it'll be Phase Pistol Friday tomorrow where I work a lot on those guys. What else we got? Oh, speaking of the phaser, or the boomerang over there, here's the emitter, and it's almost there. It's looking pretty glossy, so I'm excited about that. I actually painted it a couple times, not to my satisfaction, but I think this is getting there. I actually used my all-clad gloss clear for that one, so it almost is a mirror finish. And then I painted the inside the metallic blue, so that's where that guy's at. Actually, you come here. We're gonna run out of space because there's so many things to talk about. Let's talk about the Enterprise Communicator. So the gloss black worked for that, and this guy, I don't know why this is just a pain in the ass. The front's coming along pretty nicely. You can see it's not quite there. Maybe a little wet sanding, and then we'll do another coat of gloss, and I got, no, yeah, I'm going to have to go back and, once it's all done, get that, shave that on the, like, cut into, well, just put my X-Acto knife in there and maybe run it along just the bottom part, because that seems to help it a lot. So we'll have to get that all squared away, because you want the communicator to open. The other issue is, did I talk about this last time? Of course, this is a lot heavier than the original plastic one, but there's still got to be a way to get it to where it's, you know, not sticking like that. But we'll get it somehow. And the bottom, it's pretty glossy, but I don't know. Every time I paint it, it seems like something decides to land on it or whatever. So we're going to do some high grit sand wet sanding, and this is the Duplicolor automotive gloss. So hopefully we'll get that nice and smooth and sexy. And yeah, so there's that guy. And the good news on the tricorder front, I think we have our first victim ready to do an install, so I'm pretty excited about that. It has finally met with my approval in terms of finish and clear coatedness, so yeah, that better be just some debris. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, and that's why I don't do 5. I shouldn't do 5 of these at one time, because then all the, you know, little tiny things, you gotta go fix this and that, but you're working on 5 of them at the same time. So now I'm like, okay, let's just do 1 at a time to finish them up. So that's what I'm gonna do. I was trying to do 1 a day for this week and it didn't work out that way, but yeah, I think this guy's pretty much ready to do the install, so pretty excited about that. What else? Let's move on to Starships. And as far as things completed this week, which is apparently very few, but I did complete this guy, the USS Armstrong from the Kelvin timeline fleet, and I was pretty excited about that. And I think this is the best one of the Kelvin ships that I've done so far, and it's pretty cute. So I am very excited of that. Get that guy done, and I have 2 more left that are ones that I've built. I have a bunch of parts left, so I might make something else. But the Defiant and the, well, I guess I'm going to call it Arizona, but it's a 3 nacelle dreadnought, or whatever, 3 nacelle ship where they're on the top and it has a secondary hull on the bottom that I came up with. So that one should be interesting. And I have the decal for it in the big decal pack that you can get. So it's already made, so I don't have to do individual letters, so I'm excited about that. But there's that. And in fact, I don't have the book, but I saw somebody do a YouTube thing. It's the Star Trek Official Starships Collection, the book, Volume 3, and it's all the Kelvin stuff. And for the fleet, there's apparently a bunch more concepts that they didn't use, and the Defiant one is kind of awesome. I'm not sure. It's the same design with the roll bar. It's basically the Reliant, but, you know, the roll bar and the 2 nacelles underneath, but it's like black and the registry and name are white, and it's kind of badass. So it kind of goes along with that red, which was the Excelsior, but I was too lazy to spell out Excelsior with individual letters, so I just went with Fearless. So I think it's kind of along the lines of that. But if I did that, then I'd have to have these printed in white, so I don't know, we'll see. So, but, or maybe I'll do another one of those in the future and it won't be Defiant, it'll be something else, but yeah, so Kelvin stuff. And then there's a bunch of other designs they had in that book that are, some are weird. I'm trying to decide if they're weird where I like them weird, like they're ugly weird, or if they're not ugly weird and they're just ugly. So we're right in that mid-range. And some of them you're like, oh, I see why they didn't use that, because that's hideous. And then I'm trying to like, is that like, it's so hideous it's cool? I'm not sure. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, USS Armstrong. Let's continue on with the little Daedalus. And it's coming on okay. I don't know if I put enough clear coat on it, because you can see, like, it's kind of difficult, and these aren't very deep is another kind of issue. It's not too bad, but doing the enamel, because I use the, wherever it is, Tamiya panel line black to just get in there, and then I take the enamel thinner, which turns out I could just go and use my paint thinner instead of buying another one of these, and I have a thing of that outside, so I just filled this up, which worked out beautifully because I was, oh god, it's leaking. Great. Anyway, so what was I saying? I guess that brief whiff of enamel thinner is destroying my brain. Well, I'm sure it is. Regardless, yeah, so I'll have to deal with that and get that all squared away because we want nice defined windows, because windows don't leak unless they're all leaking air, and air is turning black for some reason, so I'll have to do that. And then here's the rear bays, and we've got the shuttle bay. Whoop, there's the top. Needs to do some detail painting in there, and a wash. And this guy is the bottom. Still need to finish painting that, so it's coming along nicely, and then we'll have to figure out what to do the base. I usually just paint him, do the bronze thing, make him look like a plaque, but I think he wanted something a little more elaborate, like where this is painted in the ship color and then more various colors, so that'll be interesting to paint that. And then what I'll probably do is, I probably won't use this one, I'll get another one, just because this one's been painted, but then I'll just stain this wood base and use a fresh, or I could probably just clean this one with some acetone and have a nice brass rod, so yeah. And then there's a shuttle pod that I have up here somewhere that I got to paint too, and then it'll go in the shuttle bay. But it'll be cool because you'll be able to take one of the back off and then put the open shuttle bay on, or put the closed on and all that stuff. So, and then I got to also have to cut down the spikes, which are up here, because they were a bit too long, so we'll cut those down about half. And yeah, so that's going on with the Daedalus, which is now the USS Essex. Of a somewhat contemporary starship, let's talk about the NX-02 Columbia. This is like the first thing where I've been happy the way the all-clads have turned out. And I don't know if you've seen, a couple weeks ago, I finally got out of the trunk of my car this giant rack of all-clads that I bought from Bonnie Bray Hobbies when they were going out of business. They had a lot of some things and a few of some, and then none of a bunch of others, but it was pretty awesome. So I have plenty of white aluminum, so I was like, ah, what the hell? This seems like a good Columbia color. And so, yeah, it's looking pretty good. And the clear coat, all-clad gloss clear coat, is just wonderful, unless haven't hit some wall yet that people don't like, I don't know. But so far, it's been fantastic because it made that emitter fantastic. It did wonders for this, and I used it on a couple other ships. And I've noticed, and it's probably me doing it wrong, but when I've used some spray can clear coats, and I'll talk about that with this other ship that did that, but so I'll just save that for a second. But with Columbia, I tried to match the way it looked because it's a different tone than the NX-01, so when I do my NX-01, that's the regular style, I'm going to make that one a little more, hint more gold, so we'll see how to do that. I also noticed the Columbia bridge is not copper or gold or whatever. It's also like hull color. It seemed like a tiny bit different, so I used I don't have it up here, but what's it? Vallejo metallizer aluminum or something, or duraluminum for the bridge, just to make it slightly different, but the same. I also really like the way the Columbia's Bassards looked in the dry dock, kind of almost like a red marble. So I tried to do that here with some red, Tamiya red clear, and then some Tamiya smoke on the inside. Well, Tamiya red on the outside and inside, a couple coats of that, and then finally on the inside some Tamiya smoke. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but the masking and color for the flux chillers or whatever turned out pretty nice. Oh, it's hard to get a picture of it though. You can kind of see it, blue right there. Of course, I'm looking in the camera thingy. It looks good in the camera viewfinder. I don't know how good it looks to you guys. Hopefully it looks good. I still have to go back and clean up just some of the windows because I use the Tamiya panel liner for that guy. And it's a little streaky in areas, so just one more thing. Although, one thing I did kind of screw up. Well, okay. I'll try to get through this quick. I bought this kit at a model show. Somebody had already put it together. It was glued together. I didn't really want to rip it apart. So it's missing the clear inserts for those, and this was not inserted. So I put it on the outside so it sticks down a little more than it should, but whatever. But the funny thing is, I guess the enamel thinner got in there and decided to crack it up, because I made that mistake, and the nacelle decided to fall off. I had it glued in there, and then it decided to also come off, but that's been helping for painting purposes, so I'll re-glue it. So it might fall off again. Anyway, I learned that with my first X-Wing I did, that the enamel thinner will, like, eat the plastic, and I'm pretty sure what had happened is the panel liner got in there and under the clear coat and cracked that, so we'll just ignore that. We'll just display the ship from the top. Yeah. We won't put it on a high stand. But I got to paint the clear parts too, and see the deflector in there. One of the tines had broken off, so I kind of made one that kind of looks good. So we'll just look at it from a distance. But yeah, anyway, Columbia, almost ready for Aztecs, and I think that's going to be pretty cute. What's next? Let's do this guy. Pretty excited about this one. I don't have a name yet, but it's coming along decently. Just trying to decide if I want to repaint these guys instead of black, because it's kind of boring. So I might do, probably not the duck egg blue that I used all over, because that duck egg blue, it really doesn't stick out very well. But we'll see, maybe some kind of blue or something, I don't know. I'm going to put some clear blue over those, and but I think it's almost ready for decals, and probably just a little more cleanup of the wash. These didn't come out very well. It's a little jagged. I hand painted it because I was too lazy to mask it and airbrush it, so I might go about trying to get at least that line better. Let's see what the other side looks like. Yeah, it's not much better. So I got to do that, and I might do some interior nacelle stuff to make that look neat. And then don't ask me why I decided to put that deflector there. There is precedent because it came with the heavy destroyer kit, and you could either put the torpedo in there or this. So I was like, what the hell? And I wish there was just an extension that was the wide torpedo launcher that you'll see on the next ship conversion that you could put on this, and that's what I would have done, but it kind of looks neat. This turned out a little darker blue than I had hoped. I wanted a little brighter, but whatever. So I may repaint it, but maybe not. But I really like kind of how that turned out, because it was white, and then I just did a clear blue over that, and then copper around the edges. But, yeah, there's that ship. So hopefully we'll give it a name here eventually. And here's this guy. Sorry about that. This is the Akula class. And got to finish cleaning up the windows as well on this guy. I'm trying to decide also if I want to go back, and I could probably have to just airbrush it, because hand painting it'll probably look like garbage, and I don't think I have an extra decal, but that kind of blue area that's underneath the bridge, might have to do something with that. But yeah, see, there's that wide photon area / deflector area, and also this is broken off a couple times, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with it, just glue it back on. It's gonna look like crap, I don't care. But what I was saying with the clear coats is I don't know, it kind of like has some thinner or enamel wash to get rid of, but I don't know if you can kind of see the spots. Like it was fine before it, but maybe I sprayed too much at one time, but it kind of like ate through isn't the word I'm looking for, but it brought this stuff to the top somehow. It was very strange, but that all-clad didn't do that, so I'm going to probably use that from now on, even though it's wonderfully toxic to even do in my little spray booth, so I'll have to come up with a better situation. I was trying to do like the iridescent Aztecs, but instead of using the freaking taxidermy lacquer paints, I tried to do the Tamiya clears, which they looked a lot better before I did the clear coat, and then it like sucked them all in, and now it looks like cotton candy, but whatever. I just want to be done with it and have it in the Starfleet. So, and this stand that I made sucks, so I'm gonna have to I tried to, you know, make it go around so there wasn't a thing in the bottom. Whatever. And I got to find what I did with the freaking sensor dome. So lots to do that, but it's getting there. It is getting there. And I think that's about it for ships, except for this guy, which has been very popular, I've noticed. People love this ship. They didn't like anything else I've done in the last couple weeks. Well, they kind of did. But for some reason, everybody likes this Locnar. Not to say that I don't. And I think it's an excellent kit and an excellent ship. And it's actually turning out not too bad. It had some issues that I caused, because I should have just glued the thing, or painted the shuttle bay, then glued it and filled the seam. But I was like, no, I want to do it later, or be able to put in the door and whatever and take it out, and dumbass. But so I didn't, it would stay on friction pretty well, but then there were parts it would come off in the most inconvenient times. Of course, I did beg to the universe that I was like, you can have my personal projects go wrong if the commission ones go correct, namely this one. And after I had finished painting it and doing all the stuff, of course the saucer fell off and chipped this area. So I was like, I was kind of irritated well, I was irritated at first, but then I was like, that's a good trade-off. This is going well. So ruin one of my things. That's fine. It's a good trade-off, universe. But it's not looking too bad. Just probably a little more things to clean up, and I think it's almost ready for decals. I was trying to think what else. Oh, these windows, I think unfortunately didn't cast very well, but I think I can just use a decal from one of the kits, and I think it'll look fine. But other than that, I think it's turning out pretty cool. Good old Locnar. But I'm feeling like decals tonight, let me tell you, because I got my fancy decal order in from JBot, which I'm pretty excited about. We'll go through those pretty quickly. Which, let me tell you, be careful with these ones. These are the most sensitive decals I've ever, or they go on really well and they're easy to move around, but these scratch super easily. So now I'm being very paranoid about that. That was just an extra thing. I don't know why I'm showing that off. This is for a ship I have yet to build. It's going to be a refit dreadnought-ish thing, whatever, throw all the weird variant crap on it. So that's that guy. I did get my, how does this go? Oh, okay. My replacements for the dreadnought. So I think tonight I'm going to finish that damn dreadnought so I can put the stupid antennas on that are the resin antennas that I'm terrified. Well, actually, I have broken a couple times already, but we'll get those on there and never touch the ship ever again. And some extra pinstriping. You go over here. What else we got? What else we got? This, of course, is for the Akula. I told him just use the Reliant template, and I'm sure that'll work for what it is. I'll have to add some different pinstripes and stuff like that, but I think that'll work for this ship. So pretty excited about that. Although, in a nostalgia trip today, I decided to look at the cutscenes from Star Trek Shattered Universe, which apparently people hated that game, or it was like 4 out of 10. But I loved that game. I don't know why. It did kind of suck. The game itself was okay, kind of hard. I mean, I don't mind the difficulty, but there was some boring shit. But I really liked the story was cool. And they had Sulu and Chekhov doing the voices. It was fun. It was a fun little thing. So, but they had the ISS Renegade, and I thought, oh, I should have done that one, or the USS Renegade or whatever. After that, so I don't know what I was thinking about. And then I also got some shuttlecraft names, which was pretty cool. So whenever I get around to making 12 shuttlecraft, I will have plenty of options there. And I think he just threw this guy in as a freebie. They're all Enterprise, so I guess I will have to take out Enterprise if I make another ship, but that'll be good for that. And what else we got? Oh, some pennants. Needed to get some TNG ones, but we'll get that figured out somehow, but wanted some small ones for 1/1000 scale ships. And the Holy Grail one. This is the one that I originally sought out for, and I'm very excited because this is going to be cool. I hope. I'm really hoping it will. But I'm not going to talk about it, but people who will probably recognize some of the stuff on here will probably know what's happening. So there'll be more on that at a later date. But yeah, so that is pretty much what's going on here. Tomorrow is Phase Pistol Friday, so we'll work on that. We'll work on getting that data list cleaned up and more oh, one last thing. I always forget one thing. So I don't know what happened to this guy, but somehow the hinges didn't work properly, so I had to go buy some more hinges, so that was exciting. But it would work, the electricity would pass when it was here and when it was here, but when it was anywhere in between, it wouldn't. So I wasn't sure what was going on with that, so I was like, frack it, I'm just going to get new ones. I tried everything. I tried cleaning them in between and all that stuff, but I couldn't get it to work, so we're just going to put new hinges on it and all that, so it looks like crap right now, but I'm going to work on that after this, along with some other stuff, so we'll get that all squared away and back on track, so I'm pretty excited about that. Haven't done an end game in a while. And I've got another end game medical here, but we're just trying to get some electronics for it, and then I can get started back on this guy again, so that'll be fun. And I got a the same guy who sent me this sent me a phaser rifle to work on, so this is going to be mask and glove central outside, probably under the hose, wet sanding. So that'll be pretty fun. Although I have to give him much thanks because the owner had started doing all this, so that takes a lot of the work away from me. So I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you, sir. But you can see, like, look at that. They had to fill in, fix all that, but we'll get that nice and sexy. So, of course, this is going to be gloss black, so we've seen in this episode my trials and what the hell tribulations with that, to use the Deep Space Nine episode title. But anyway, I think that's it for this edition of Starchwreck NOT Live. And I'm sure as I do more of these, I'll become more obnoxious as I get more comfortable with it. So just, this went for 30 minutes. Unbelievable. That's quite an update video. But yeah, let's just move past it and tell you all, have a good day. Have a good Memorial Day if you are into that in America, or celebrate that at all, or whatever. Happy Memorial Day regardless. And all that stuff, but hopefully I think we'll try to keep these a weekly show, or not, or just whenever the hell I feel like doing it. And yeah, so I've added another minute to the show. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Bye!